is the place for you. No need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken.
Welcome all to the Bible Book Club. So glad to have you with us. Hope you put some things in the chat so let's get the room popping. Hope you'll share the room for those of you who are friends and those of you who know will usually be here. I wish I could get y'all to help me to do that. I appreciate it so very much. Those of you who are in fact on what we know to be the visual streams, video streams of both YouTube and Facebook, and yeah, those two. I want you to go ahead and share that page with you, or make a comment, start it, and as we share it all over Clubhouse. Let's get started with our teachings for today. Father, we thank you for your word, will, plan, purpose, and we ask you now in this space of time that you be with, in, through, and toward us for your name's sake and praise. We give our lives to you. We give our hearts, our minds, our souls to you. We teach from your word, and your word teaches us. So we're asking you today that as we push towards your words, that the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts would be acceptable in your sight, Yahweh. You alone are our strength, and you are our Redeemer. Yeshua HaMashiach, you are our Savior and our King. And Father, we right now bind up any work of the enemy to bring confusion and confliction across anybody's mindset and or space. We teach you, your son, his salvation, his death on the burial of the cross. The true gospel of Yeshua HaMashiach is that you sent your word to heal our land, and you gave your word life that we might know what life looks like. We bless you now, most forevermore. Help us to teach it, share it, and understand it as we read it in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. We all pray and we all say, Amen. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you with us. Those of you who are tuning in from out of the country and different continents, drop a line as to where you are. Just hit us up with your state, your country, your continent if you want. Doesn't matter. If you want to do your city, that's cool too. But just let us know where you're calling from, you're hitting from, you're reading from, you're studying from, because this is Bereishit Kingdom Ministries. It is a global ministry, has been for very, 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 very long time, and will always be until the end of my time, at least. And I hope that it would proceed, would succeed me and continue on further. So we're going to get started into where we finished off on last week. We finally got through Bereishit, Genesis chapter 28. Now let's get into chapter 29. So we know now in Genesis chapter number 28. Who can tell me what we know in a conclusion, in a quick way, in Genesis 28? What we had as a conclusion. Anybody know real quick? What was the end result of Genesis chapter 28? Anybody care to share in this Bible book club? Okay. So what we'll do is this. I'll just continue to read on. Genesis chapter number 29. Then Jacob went on his journey. He came into the land of the people of the east. He looked, and behold, there was a wall. There was a well. So what I'm going to do is, since we don't have enough to talk about it, let's just go back to 28, because I hate to go into 29 without understanding 28. Let's go to 28. I'll put it on the screen for those of you who are watching online. You can see my Bible. You can see how we study. You can see what it is. So Genesis chapter number 28, I'll pick up at verse number 10. And Jacob went out unto Beersheba and went toward Haran. He lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took the stones of that place, put them for his pillows, lay down in that place to sleep. Verse 12 says, he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth. The top of it reached to heaven. Behold, the angels of Elohim descended and ascended and descended upon it. And behold, Yahweh stood above it and said, I am Yahweh Elohim of Avraham, Isaac, Jacob. In the land whereon you are lying and sleeping, to you I will give it, and to your seed. Verse 14, and your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee. I will keep thee in this places whither you shall go, and I will bring you again here into this land, for I will not leave you until I have done that which I have spoken of to you. Verse 16, Jacob awaked out of his sleep and said, woo, surely Yahweh is in this place, and I didn't know that. Verse 17, and he was afraid. He said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other than the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of heaven. And Elohim and Jacob rose up early in the morning, took a stone that he had put for his pillow, set it up for a pillar, and he poured oil on that pillar upon the top of it. Verse 19. And he called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of that city was called Luz at first. Verse 20. Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if Elohim will be with me, if Elohim will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall Yahweh be my Elohim. Okay. Everybody got to choose who you're going to serve. All right. He goes on to say, and this stone shall I set for a pillar, shall be Elohim's house. And of all that thou shalt give me, I will surely give thee the 10th. Well, the Torah does not exist, and tithing is yet again talked about for the third time. All right, let's move on. So, and I'll say the second time because Abraham was one. There was another time, but then Jacob, who is a grandson of Abraham, is saying and doing the same thing. So the tithe is a very interesting subject. You can't tell me it came with the Torah. It came before the Torah was rendered to humanity. All right, now let's get to chapter number 29 so we know what's going on. Jacob chapter 29 verse 1 says, then Jacob went on his journey. He came into the land of the people of the east. He looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered. And they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and they watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in its place. And Jacob said unto them, my brothers, where y'all from? And they said, we're from Haran. That's where we be. Y'all get that? Verse 4, y'all get that? Okay. Jacob said unto them, brother, whence be ye? And they said, Haran are we. I like that verse. Can I say it again? Jacob said unto them, my brother, whence be ye? And they said, Haran are we. And he said unto them, do y'all know Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, we know him. Verse 6 says, and he said unto them, is he well? And they said, he is well. And behold, Rachel, his daughter, comes with more sheep. Verse 7, and he said, lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water the sheep and go feed them. And they said, we cannot until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth, then we water the sheep. And while he yet spake, Rachel was with them. Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. Man, that must have been one heck of a kiss. He lifted up his voice and wept. My God, why he all fresh like that? He just watered the sheep, a little bit musty, and he came in and kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice. All right, y'all. Okay. Verse 12. That's the Bible said that he lifted up his voice and he wept. Verse 12. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother and that he was Rebekah's son. And she got that kiss. She was like, pew, pew. She ran, told her daddy, 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 daddy. I'm sorry. Let me tell the story. All right. Verse 12. Y'all don't like this story? I'm going to tell the story, right?
No, it's good.
Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Rachel told Jacob told Raquel, look, hey, hey, my mom is your father's sister. I'm Rebecca's son. I know they told you about her. Yeah, she, daddy, pew, pew, daddy. He kissed me too. Yeah. Verse 13. And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him. See, y'all know why he ran to meet him, right? I hope y'all read chapter 26. Laban ran to meet Jacob, because last time somebody from Abraham's side of the family came through, he got rich. Oh, y'all didn't, y'all, that's why he ran. He ain't ran because another man came into his camp. He ran because, who? Last time we talked about Rebecca, we got wealthy. We living because of Rebecca. We living off the blessing of Rebecca, and her son is here. Shoot, last time her husband was here, we got the hookup. Yo, everybody, tighten up, giddy up, let go. Y'all not gonna talk to me. Y'all not gonna talk to me. Y'all didn't read the story. Y'all didn't read the story.
Just remember that, but
you got to know the story. He ain't running because another man that came and watered his flock. He wasn't running because he wanted to see his nephew. He like, did you say Rebecca name, baby girl? Daddy, Rebecca's son is here. You said Rebecca. That's all he needed, Rebecca. Last time we had Rebecca here, I became a very wealthy man. And you said her son is here? Shoot, let's go cash in. Okay, I might be adding that part. Okay, let me stick to the let me stick to the
that's what they did though.
Let me stick to the translation for those who think I don't teach the unadulterated gospel. Okay. Verse 13. It came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. Laban said unto him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him for a space of a month. Laban said unto Jacob, so he was hanging out there for a month. Did y'all know that? Did anybody pay attention to verse 14 ever?
No.
Probably not.
We surely did not. But he was living with them.
Can you expound on that?
I'm gonna do it right now. The last sentence of verse 14. And he abode with Laban for the space of a month.
I read that.
We all read it. We just didn't read into it. You know what I mean? Because typically, like in Christendom, we just read over stuff. So he was hanging out there for like a month with them. And you know how family get after a while. All right, bro, you've been here a month. Time to pay rent. Oh, you're killing me, Jones. You're killing me. All right, bro, you've been here a whole month, man. Y'all didn't see that in text? Y'all think I added that? Okay. All right. Verse 15. And Laban said unto Jacob, because you are my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me what shall be your wages. Now he'd been there a whole month, right? And he's like, since you came here, you've been feeding my sheep and stuff, and that's pretty cool. But I mean, you are my blood, so should you serve me for nothing? I mean, what how much you gonna what is you gonna charge me? You've been here a whole month. That means he's had time to see Leah, and he has time to see who he kissed. And for a month, they just been, you know how they do, just chilling. Verse 15. Because you're my brother, shouldest thou serve me for naught? Tell me what your wages shall be. Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah. The name of the older, the younger, was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed.
Okay, Apostle.
Okay, y'all don't want to talk about that. Okay, she was tender-eyed.
I do. No, can you go to the Strongs and look up that tender eye? Because they were saying she was ugly.
What you're
Please,
not
sir.
gonna do is be the boss of me.
Please.
Oh, all right.
No, I'm not
It's
being
the
the
please.
boss.
It's the please.
I'm asking
It's
very,
it's
very
the
gently and nicely, please.
it's the please for me. Okay, cool. Y'all be around here throwing me around because I got a concordance. Go get one. I got one. You go get one and try to demand I use mine. You know what? I see how this going.
I can look at mine if you want me to, sir.
But I got it right here. All right, so that's the Hebrew word H7390. And it comes from H7401, which means she had rachal, means she was softened, faint, mollified. She was softer. She was to be made tender, faint-hearted, faintish. So when we look at the word tender-eyed, the word eye is ayin, all right? And the primitive root is the word eye. By analogy, a fountain of a landscape, an affliction, an outward appearance, before think best color conceit, content, countenance, displease, eyebrow, favor, fountain, furrow, humble knowledge, please, present, resemble, regard, sight. So we're talking about an eye. Now we're looking at this from what it says in verse 17, tender, the word rach, which means literally or figuratively, by implication, a weak eye, like a sleepy eye. Okay. Now, I don't know where they got she was ugly, but she did have a tender eye. She had a sleepy eye. That answer your question?
Yes, sir. Because every time someone talks about it, they act like she was just horrid to look at.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, yeah, it's not true. She just had a sleepy eye. You know, some used to say she was buck tooth. A
Daphne.
So I don't know where we really, came up with that at either, but I know that Leah was tender-eyed, but Raquel was beautiful and well-favored. So some say when you looked at Leah, your eyes got soft and you had to look away because she was ugly, but it doesn't say that. It says she had racha. She had a tender eye. She had a weak, a faint eye. And that to us is a sleepy eye, right? Maybe it was loose in the head, whatever it was an eye. But Raquel was in fact beautiful and she was well favored above Leah. Okay, Daphne, go.
So if they describe her not looking that good, could she have also been cross-eyed? Maybe that was the difference.
Well, a lazy eye would make it look that way. So if you have a tender eye, she could have been cross-eyed. She could have been a lazy eye, which slips down to the corner, making you look cross-eyed. But either way, it was a deformity or a weakness in the eye. So it could be either. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So verse 18, Jacob loved Raquel. And he says, I will serve you for 7 years for Raquel, your younger daughter. Laban says, it is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. Let's do that. We'll do that. And Jacob served 7 years for Raquel. Is there any ambiguity about what they agreed to, y'all?
Not at all.
All right. No. Okay. So there's none. We're very clear what they want. So verse 19, Laban said, it's better that I give her to you than I should give her to another man. Go ahead, hang out with me for 7 years. Cool. And Jacob served for 7 years for Raquel, and they seemed unto him but a few days. Boy, look here. I know that feeling, man. It seems, but it was years, but it just seemed like one day. Just one day. It just seemed like one day. One day. Just seemed like one day, you know. He's serving that man for 7 years. It was like just a couple days. Boy, he couldn't wait to marry her, could he? Shoot, he was running around there for 7 years like he was just got there last week, full of energy. Because he loved her. He loved it her. He had loved it her. Verse 21. Jacob said unto Laban, whew, my time is up. Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place. Yes, he did. And made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her in unto Jacob. And Jacob, in the fray of the partying and the drinking and the feast, he went in unto her. Now, I still say he was lit. He had to be lit. And I knew they ain't have like, lamp posts and everything like that. And the custom was to come into marriage and then go into the tent. And they were covered at the feast, at the event, and all the things. But he went in. I can hear Jacob saying, I found love on a two-way street. No, he didn't sing that song. So anyway, so he says in verse 23, and it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, Laban did, and brought her in unto Jacob. And he went in unto her, and Laban gave unto his daughter Leah, he gave her Zilpah, his maid, to be a handmaid for Leah. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah that he woke up next to. And he said to Laban, what is this that you have done unto me? Did I not serve you for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? Laban said, it must not, look, man, hey, man, look here, Papi, listen, man, I'm look here, listen, hey, look, pay attention, look, where we come from, how we do it over here, a little different than where y'all do it. So he said, look, it must not be so done in our country that we will give the younger daughter before the firstborn. So I thought about it, and let me tell you my plan. Let me tell you the plan, Jacob, Rebecca's son, my nephew, my sister. Here's what we can do. Fulfill her week. Y'all realize that week honeymoon came from somewhere? Fulfill her week of just y'all being together. And then after the end of that week, right, we will then give you this also for the service if you'll serve me yet 7 more years. So basically what I'm saying is, fam, I can't give you Raquel before Leah, but if you finish your covenant as we have it in our custom and fulfill her week of being together and the honeymoon with her, I will then, at the end of you fulfilling her week, I will then give you her sister who you want, Raquel, and then you can have your week with her. And so the only thing would be that you'd have to serve me for 7 more years. But look, you get Raquel, and technically you got Leah and Zilpah, and all you got to do is just serve me another 7 years, like you served me so beautifully these last 7 years, and we good. We be Gucci. I don't know if Gucci was around back then. I don't think Gucci was around back then, but y'all get the point, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool point. Cool beans. Someone said something. Who said something? Y'all gotta say your name louder. I couldn't hear y'all. Who was that said something?
Alex, that's it. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, gotcha. C. Marie, what you got?
So one of the crazy sermons that I've heard when this was been talked about was how LeBron was supposed to be paid back because of how
LeBron played basketball. He played basketball. LeBron. Okay, LeBron. All right.
LeBron. Okay. Don't.
Go ahead.
Anyway, how LeBron was supposed to be paid back because people consider Jakob to be such a trickster. They spin this on how he was getting Jakob back for what he did to Esau.
Yeah, but LeBron don't know about the story. Now, it does say that he did when he got there and he sat down. Jakob did tell LeBron everything that transpired. And some would say, and I'm not going to fight anybody's subjectivity or somebody's eisegetics, but yeah, there's been many different stories about why LeBron did this. Some say it was God paying Jakob back. Clearly, it was not. As a matter of fact, it looked like Yahweh was answering Jacob's prayer. If you read chapter 28, right? Because in Laban's house, he got food, he got clothing, he got board, and he got 4 wives. I think he was blessed. I think Yahweh was looking out for him. So it wasn't a curse, though it was anger. I'm sure he didn't get Leah that night, but he did get her 7 days later. So if 7 years was as a couple days, 7 days must have been as a couple minutes. So because he loved Raquel, right? So he did end up getting Raquel in 7 days later, and then had 7 days with her, and then just had to serve 7 years to consummate, the dowry. Right. But yeah, there are so many different stories. And a lot of people like, yeah, Laban paid him back for what he did to his nephew Esau. It doesn't appear that Laban ever got the chance to meet Esau. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem to be the case. So it's not like he can favor one nephew over the other and pay him back because, oh, you was wrong, you did him dirty. No, because that's not the case. Right. But glad you brought that up. All right. Who else?
Danielle.
Go, Danielle.
I think Alex was first before me.
All right, go, Alex.
No, I was just saying yes, sir.
I
heard what was said.
Okay, cool. Danielle, go.
I had a question about the fulfill the week. I was wondering what that meant, and it sounds like you said that's the honeymoon stage. So is there any indication in what's in those passages that can lead us to what good Lord, what feast that is?
No.
What time of the year that is?
Okay. We do know that it was towards one of the times of the feast, but remember, we are pre-Torah.
Oh yeah, okay.
We are pre-Torah. The feasts are not technically in stone here. So it could have been one of any of the seasons, but it appears to be around the times of the moons. The feasts and what have you were dictated by Yahweh our Elohim in the Torah, and we are pre-Torah by about a millennia.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that part. Now, the customs of the Torah, when it came to, the week and the consummation week, they all ran with a lot of different things that was customary for the people of that day, i.e. the dowry, because he didn't have anything to give for the bride, but he gave his time. He gave 7 years of service, still a dowry. The 7 days, the week, was still something customary in Israel. So you can go into the Torah and find where once you got married, your days of your marriage consummation, you consummated it that night, but then you stayed with your spouse for 7 days only, just you and your spouse. Nobody interrupted that time. And when y'all came back out from living together, walking on the park and all that stuff, you presented yourselves to the world again as you and she and him. So there is a custom that's in place there that is pre-Torah, but there is no feast we can connect these directly to. But we know that it's around the times of the moons because they still kept the signs of the times, and there were times when passions reigned high. So when Laban actually receives Jacob for 7 years, I tried to track down when he left. I actually tried to track down the time when he left Rachel's house, Yitzhak's house, and how long it took him to track all the way across. It just got too convoluted and too many things. I just left it go. But I don't know how to associate it to one particular feast. But the custom of marriage is, in fact, still at play from these times, even into some of the ways of Israel. Because remember, where Avram got where Avram comes from, that's the custom of that place. Avram, is from that area. And so Avram, Yitzhak, and Jacob, so those customs are sort of kind of within them, and keeping that time once married can be implied without a great deal of prejudice. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You'd be welcome. Good question.
Alex.
Go, Alex.
Real quick. So basically the service to Laban or Laban was the answer to Jacob's prayer at the end of chapter 28.
I wouldn't say the service to Jacob was the answer. No. I won't say that was the answer, but his receiving food, room, and board was, whether he got it from serving Laban or being, what do we call it? A entrepreneur in the area. You know what I mean? You get what I'm trying to tell you? So I can't say that the service to Laban was the answer, though what he got out of service was the answer. How he would have gotten food, room, and board could have been a myriad of ways. And as long as he got it and came back to that place, Yahweh would be his Elohim. So I hope that helps without making it weird.
No, it helps.
Good.
It helps. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question. All right. So verse 20. Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him to be but a few days. 21. Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife. Verse 22. Laban gathered together all the men of the place. Verse 23. It came to pass in that evening he took Leah. Verse 24. Laban gave unto his daughter a gift. It gave him his handmaid Zilpah to be her handmaid. And then 25 says, and it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. He said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve you for Rachel? Wherefore have you beguiled me? Verse 26. Laban said, it must not so be done in our country, to give the younger before the first. Fulfill her week, and we will give you this also for the service which thou hast served with me, if you'll serve me yet 7 more years. So Jacob did so, fulfilled Leah's week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, also to wife. Then Laban gave Rachel his daughter Bilhah to be his handmaid, to be her maid. So Laban gave to his daughter Rachel Bilhah, which was his handmaid, to be her maid. Okay, So does anybody see anything about the 7 days here that's weird? Because a lot of people felt that Jacob served 7 years and got Leah, and then served another 7 years and got Raquel.
That's what I used to think.
Yeah, because that's how it was taught.
Yes.
But the truth is, he got Raquel 7 days after he and Leah married. And then that started his 7-year service for Raquel, but he had Raquel, and he had Leah, and he had Bilhah, and he had Zilpah.
Oh, okay. That's way different.
It is way different. He got them all in the 7-year period of time. Now, this is why people don't understand how he ended up with children so fast before he left. So if he waited until his 14th year to get Raquel and had children from Bilhah, then that would have had to been before the 14 years are over. So at year 7, he has all these children. At year 7, he begins to have all these children. So him and Leah, boom, they hit it off right away. Well, they had children right away. He didn't like Leah. You'll see that later on. But y'all understand that by the time he finished his 14th year of service, he had a whole tribe. So if you don't pay attention to that, you would think that at year 14, he got Raquel, and then he started having children with Bilhah. Granted, he was having children with Leah, right? But that was in the first, that was after the first 7 years, and then he would be having children with Leah during the 7 years before he got Raquel. But no, he got Raquel at the same time he got Leah. So that was a baby-making man for 7 years. You had 12 children in 7 years. You heard me? You a bad man. Y'all don't want to talk to me no more. Okay, let's get back to the story. Nobody wants to talk to me. I don't understand why.
Wanda.
Go ahead, Wanda.
Okay, I do have a question about the handmaid. Now, Sarai gave her handmaid to Abraham for the sake of having a child. Now, here we see that both daughters get a handmaid. Was it customary?
Yes, it's a gift from the father. Yeah, well? It is a customary. Okay. Remember, Sarai comes from this same land. This is customary. Abraham comes from this same land. That's why Abraham beginning told his servant, don't let my son marry any of these people in this area. Go back to where I come from and bring me back a wife for my son, like my wife Sarai. Go to my town and get me a wife that's built like that.
The reason why I'm asking is because we've kind of been made to believe that what she did in giving her handmaid to her husband was wrong, but now we're seeing that it's customary.
Right. So it's not just that, but it's customary that the handmaid didn't have to be sleeping with, with the husband of her mistress. That wasn't a guarantee that they smashing. That's not a guarantee that they clapping. But I'm sorry, y'all. I'm around young people all day.
It's okay. Keep rolling.
I'm gonna keep rolling because that's what we do. So it's not a guarantee that just because you the mistress and you got a handmaid that you let your handmaid sleep with your husband. That wasn't a guarantee. Remember, she made a decision. Sarai did, to give her handmaid to him for a marriage so that they could fulfill what they felt was their way of fulfilling the will of Elohim. So that was a decision made. Now, if you pay attention to this story, these two maids do the same thing, but it was cool if they did it as long as the bride, the wife, the mistress, as they would call her, the handmaiden's mistress, permitted it and said, you go in and sleep with my husband. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth right now. This is why certain Israelite camps, not Israel. Well, yeah, some Israelite camps and some other people in the faith are pushing this polygamy and polyandry, because they're like, that's just the way things always been, Can I have some fun with y'all on this one? Real talk. Can I have some fun with y'all on this one? Can I have some fun with y'all?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
No, I can't hear the brothers. No brother. Sir, you can't speak, brother. Shh, all brothers be quiet. Don't no brothers say nothing. Women, can I have some fun with this for a second?
I don't know now.
What you mean? Can you have some fun with us? You're making
with this comment for the ladies only because of the way that the world is. So here is the catch. Here is the thing of having fun with you guys. There's always been the concept that the women would have the handmaidens, and because the men were when they were younger, so driven, and the women would be just tired of him coming home and hopping and like, here, you go take care of him. Let me sleep, So they had that in their own camp, and it was something that to us today in our culture is adultery, right? But back then that was cultural. As a matter of fact, there was no law against it. We didn't have the Torah yet. It's not until the Torah that you find out that that's not it. We're still under the command to multiply and replenish the earth. And that by the second part of Noah.
Definite.
Okay. So again, in a little bit of fun, the part about the women always, he coming home, he always hungry for, intimacy and romance, and they've been killing, and cooking dinner and making clothes and washing at the brook and all that. He come home, come here, Jane, and she like, Sally Ann, go over there and take care of that man. So that was a real cultural thing. That's why I said I want to have fun with it. And I know how offensive people can get. I've been on many panels, heard so many things, and yet I just wanted to have a humorous moment. And clearly, y'all didn't want me to have that humor because not near one of y'all laughing. But Daphne, you got something to say. Go ahead.
No. Yes, Apostle. I can get with what you said because throughout my military career and being around other people, their culture was a little bit different and is more acceptable. And I could get with the part where he said they were still under the authority and command of being fruitful and multiplying. But one of the requirements learning from some of the other cultures is that as long as the women are gathered in one house under one roof and the male can provide for them, that's acceptable. It's when they go outside and you picking up other people, women here, there. But as long as it's under one roof, it's acceptable.
Okay, that deals with polyandry and polygamy today. And in those cultures, even that's different than what you had in Chaldea. So that is an issue, and that's why you got all these different things from people saying, well, as long as we're married, it's cool. And if she allows him to marry, which is not something that we endorse, but it is a cultural issue that we are in the same world dealing with based on different cultures. But I don't want to mix that up with what we do today and what you've heard in Egypt. I'm sorry, in certain countries where, even in America, y'all, it's right here in your backyard. It's right here in the Midwest. It's right here in Jersey. It's here in Philly. It's here in New York. It's everywhere. You're not going to get away from it. And you got more people doing it than you think. And they're just not saying anything because it was just like alternative lifestyles. People think you weird. And how dare you say you love God and be doing that thing too. So I'm just putting that out there for y'all real quick to get through that. So the way that they do it today in certain cultures is like Daphne mentioned, and the rights and wrongs of it are different per ethnicity and faith system. So yeah, but in this case here, where we were having a little bit of fun, and to the question that was presented, Sariah gave Hagar. And here in these stories with Raquel and Leah, Leah gave Zilpah, and Raquel gave Bilhah. So even that was acknowledged in the house, and it is what it is. And again, we are still pre-Torah in these events. We are still pre-Torah in these events. So the Torah has not yet come to say this is considered adultery. And even then, there's a dialogue and an argument within a great deal of Christendom as to what adultery was. Was it possible to be married to multiple people, but whoever you were married to, you could have multiple marriage. You could have, there's a thought, the concept that you could have multiple wives, and it's a marriage, and each one be a marriage. But if you step outside of any of those marriages, that's adultery. So that's where it gets weird. That's where Christendom likes to get mum and quiet and hush on. So we're not going to let that invade our conversation. Well, we already did. But just know that those dialogues and conversations are out there. And because most Christians don't know how to respond to it, people who are believers in Elohim, but believers also in multiple partners, they beat y'all up. So just be mindful. This is pre-Torah. Moshe is not alive yet. This is Jacob. This is not Jacob's great-great-great-great-grandson. This is not Moshe. This is Jacob. This is Israel. The beginning. So when you look at those things, you got to be very conscious and careful how you express and explain them, because you are seeing a lot more of it being talked about. And I have my view on it, which I will not share. I will stick to Torah, but I'm just telling you what is out there. So when you get caught up in conversations and think that it's something you just want to jump into in some general way, be very careful, because they will trap you up, mess you up, get you mad, have you cussing, screaming, and hollering because you think you know the will of Elohim. But then they nail you with Torah and show you something in Torah that will shock you. And because you've not read nor understood the culture, when they shock you and hit you with it, you sit there and look like a bumbling idiot, because you are saying, no, that's adultery. And they're showing you post-Torah multiple marriages, in multiple wives, multiple spouses in a scenario. And what are you going to do? If you don't understand the culture, you don't understand the different phases, you don't understand when they did this, when they did that, when they went to the promised land, when they were actually the kingdom of Israel, and how those things played out, how they got drug off. If you don't understand all that stuff, you will get trapped up in a conversation that they're giving you more information about the culture that you are not aware of, because all you thought about since you were Christian was just Jesus, 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 Jesus. And if you, that's adultery. You this is why I tell y'all, and all you're getting, get what?
Understanding.
Get understanding. Okay, I heard, was that Sam? Santana, was that you out there?
Yeah, but I thought it was somebody before.
There is. I was going to make sure it was you. Lindo, go.
Yeah.
Lindo?
I was going to forego Apostle. I thought because it's something that I know factually, where prior to, I think, the Torah, where the fathers were sleeping with their daughters, and I still know Jewish families that does that.
Well, again, to still do it today is against Torah. And yet that's for father with daughter, because there's a pool that, you know, that there's a law. But
Orthodox.
yeah, well, again, there's a law. Whether it's Messianic or Orthodox or Kabbalist,
Right.
or, you know, Ashkenazi or Yemenite or Mennonite, I know a lot. I come out of Hershey, Philadelphia area, and anywho. So, but as it relates to father with daughter, dead law. As it relates to father and a handmaid, i.e., a servant of the house, an indentured servant of the house, that's what Laban has given both Leah. We are in Genesis 29, verse 28. That's what Laban has given Raquel. That's what Laban has given Leah, indentured servants to him. And he gave those indentured servants as a gift for servitude to his bride daughters. So that's like a gift to the daughter. Okay, see, Marie, go. No, Santana.
I'm sorry, trying to be quick to get off this mic. Anyway, I had two questions, and I'm sorry, I can only do one if you say it's okay. But either way, the first one was, isn't it scripture? I don't know if it's New Testament, where it said will come a time where women will be glad just to get the last name of a male in that way with multiple wives. Now, I know you said we ain't touching it, but I just want to make sure from what I was heard and taught from another place. So I just want to ask.
That's a concept, not a passage of writ.
Okay.
What's your second question?
Second question was, I might be wrong to ask because I'm late to the class. But I was wanting to go back just on the part where he kissed Rachel when he seen her and wept. I could be late, y'all. So if you tell me you already taught on it, I go on the replay.
Okay. Well, no, he kissed her and he cried out. He wept. He was like, "Woo! I feel good." I knew that I would, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna say about that. That answer your question? Okay. Moving on. Yeah. Who's next? See, Marie, go.
But in the case of Raquel giving her handmaiden to Jacob, wasn't it because she was barren, and Leah just did it because she stopped bearing children?
Well, we're gonna talk about.
Did it for the same reason.
I'm gonna cut that because we're going into that. What we were talking about was the fact that the question was about the handmaid. Why was the handmaid? Was it customary? The story you're about to get into, we're going to read it. I think we should go into that organically, but now you have a little bit of preference, a little bit of, reference when we get there to actually see why the handmaidens were given over to that responsibility at their mistress's request. Y'all got to remember, Abraham did not ask for Hagar. You got to remember, Jacob did not ask for Bilhah, did not ask for Zilpah. They were thrust on them because of a woman's ego and some woman competition between sisters. And because of Sariah thinking this was the wise thing to do to get the vision of God to come to pass in Abraham's day. But between Zilpah and Bilhah, servants to both Leah and Raquel are, as you're going to read, are in a issue of jealousy and one-upping each other. And shoot, that poor man, look, y'all, Jacob got pimped out by his wives. They sold that man for some mandrakes. You hear me? Y'all don't want to talk to me, but it's okay. Mandrakes is a fruit. Did y'all know that? You're going to learn today.
Yes.
No, I didn't. I was going to ask you about the significance of that, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, we'll get there, but I'm just putting that in your head so when we do get there, you'll have an antenna ready to rear up on it. Okay. So Jacob did verse 28. Let's go to verse 28, chapter 29. We're in Bereishit 29, 28. Jacob did so. He fulfilled his week, and then he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife him. Laban gave Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel much more than Leah. Did y'all see that? He loved Rachel more than Leah and served with him yet 7 other years. Verse 31. When Yahweh saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Leah conceived, bare a son. She called his name Reuben, for she said, surely Yahweh hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me, because I gave you a son. Every man wants a son, and though I know you were not the choice, everybody knew that 7 years before I got married. I knew it. Raquel knew it because our daddies switched us at the wedding. You know, nobody said anything wrong because they never disrespected their father, but everybody knew this was wrong, but it was right for their culture, but it was wrong. They didn't tell Jacob. So Jacob does not know he's getting Leah, and Leah is looked down upon by Jacob because, like, how the heck could y'all do this to me? But it was done. So she sort of kind of knew she was just like a skin tag, or just a, you know, I'm only in this because of my dad's, you know, my dad's desire to keep Jacob, because I know in the family that the father sees Jacob as a blessing because the business has taken off since Jacob been running it. And he don't want him to leave. So, you know, we had to do this. So let's keep reading. Verse 32. Leah conceived, bare a son. She called his name Reuben, for she said, surely Yahweh hath looked upon my affliction. Now, therefore, my husband, who he didn't really want me, but I do have a husband. Now, therefore, I gave him a son. Is what every man wants, whether, no matter how he got me, you know, maybe my husband will love me now. Verse 33. She conceived again and bare another son, because Yahweh hath heard that I was hated. He hath therefore given me this son also, and she called his name Simeon. Verse 34, she conceived again, bare a son, and said, now this time I know, the third time is a charm, I know my husband will be my husband. I know now this, verse 34. She conceived again and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, surely, because I have borne him 3 sons. Now he do keep going into her. So if he hated her so much, I mean, he keep having babies by her. I'm just saying, I don't know how much hate you can have. You still smashing. Anyway, 34. So I'm just saying, you know. Hey, watch it. Stop it. No. All right. So now verse number 34. Therefore was this child's name called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now I will praise Yahweh. Therefore she called his name Ulda, and then she left from being able to bear. She 4 children, and she was done. Santana, were you next?
Well, yes, I think. Well, is it just because the Lord knows his heart that he didn't say he didn't hate her? He just said he loved Rachel more. That's it.
Yeah, but when Yahweh says he knew that he hated her and he shut up a womb, it implies that Yahweh knows the heart. I can't take it out the writ.
I see. I figured that he knew his heart.
He knew his heart. Yeah, I can't take it out the writ. Yahweh, he shut up Raquel's womb. That's an indictment.
Right.
Good question. Maz, help me. Who was next? Who came on next? Who was that? Marie. See Marie, go.
Danielle is.
Go see Marie.
Danielle is next.
Okay, Danielle, go.
I had a question based on your statement. So wasn't that his duty, even though they were still having, he was still having kids with her? Wasn't that like his duty as a husband? Even though he may not have loved her, but
I can't say it's his duty. I know in America we say it's that duty to smack, but I can't say that that's his duty. Y'all gonna get me in trouble today, Father. I can't say it's his duty, but as a husband, in that time, in that day, it is his wife. He has the right, and they are husband and wife, and they are in technically a male-dominated society. I don't know if it was just a duty as much as it was he has the right to it, and if he wants to, he can.
Oh, okay.
Alex.
You understand what I'm saying? Because
yes, I understand.
Yeah, because again, I'm sorry. If you keep going back like that, she must have had that good, because he got 4 children.
There you
go. Hey, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. Y'all might not like it. Some of y'all might think it's not holy and righteous, but yeah, you don't be talking holy and righteous when the bed is undefiled. They married. Whatever they did, this is history. And so they got 4 children. So he may have hated her and despised her, but look here. He wasn't exactly screaming bloody murder at the wedding night. You know what I mean? I'm just putting it out there. So he was screaming bloody murder. They did consummate that marriage. You heard me. He wanted Raquel. My point is, if it's a duty, I don't know. I think it's more. That's a great question too. We're just having fun, guys. We're just having fun before y'all think I'm sacrilegious and unsaved and unholy and carnal. Miss me with that. This is life. So, and not that anyone said that. I'm just putting it out there in case it gets out on the archives and people viewing later. We're just having fun. But yeah, as it being his duty to smack that, I can't say. If she calls him, he should go. He is his wife, but it wasn't like he was only with her.
That was my question.
Oh, right? Yeah, no, he got 2 wives. This is where it gets interesting. So let's keep moving. All right, so that's the last. Who was that? Danielle. Thank you. C. Marie, go. What's your question?
So what I find interesting is that she had 4 sons by him. It
right.
wasn't until her 4th son that she really recognized who was the giver of those children, and she praised Yahweh for the children instead of looking for Jacob to recognize her for those children. And that's when it seems like her soul was finally able to receive some type of solace or peace. Is when she finally recognized Yahweh was the giver of her sons. That's all.
Okay, I'm with you halfway on that. And she recognized Elohim each time. She did. She recognized Yahweh. Surely he will look upon my affliction. He known that I was hated. Yahweh has given me this 3rd son, and he's going to join me and my husband together. She recognizes Yahweh in each of them. But like you're saying, the part I will agree with you on is now she looks past Jacob at this point and his hatred and disdain for me. But you keep putting children out through me. I'm going to praise Yahweh. Okay. And at that point, she stops bearing children. I found that interesting as well. Okay, so let's push on to chapter 30. So verse number 1, and when Raquel saw that she bare Jacob no children, verse 1, chapter 30, Raquel envied her sister. And Jacob said, and she said unto Jacob, man, give me children or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Raquel and says, am I in God's stead, who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb? Baby, I'm giving you the best that I got, baby. It's just not happening. Y'all didn't get the correlation? Okay, you know what? That's okay. So Jacob's anger is kindled against Raquel, and she's saying, am I in God's stead, babe? I'm doing the same thing with you. I'm doing with her. And she said, okay, behold then, Bilhah, my maid, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, there you go, Sariah, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. He went into her, and boom, boom, shaka-laka-laka, she pregnant. Verse 5, Bilhah conceived. Y'all, are y'all okay with this sensual matter of this text? Y'all seem like y'all so quiet. There's no... Y'all acting like church people in the corner over there in the back. He's so carnal. Okay, watch.
I'm keep making noise there. Watch.
You missed Alex, Apostle. You missed Alex's question.
Alex, what was your question? I'm sorry.
I'll keep it brief. So it's really a two-part question. So
go ahead.
Being that this is before Torah is given officially, this is acceptable in the culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, did Abraham have it?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
That's pre-Torah.
And then after Torah, because the whole, I'm not trying to go backwards, but it was on my mind. The whole polygamy argument, somebody was trying to use Solomon as...
Can't do it. That's completely different. Can't do it.
That's political, right?
That is absolutely 100% political, and that's the point I'm trying to make. When most Christians hear that argument come out, oh, Solomon, oh, David, right? No, you can't use that argument because that was political. They asked for a king like other nations. And that is how they made treaties. That's how they made alliances. That's how they made confederates. So, correct.
Thank you.
No, thank you for asking. All right. So verse 5, Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. Verse 6, Raquel said, God has judged me and hath also heard my voice and hath given me a son. Therefore called she the name of that child Dan. Verse 7, Bilhah, Raquel's maid, conceived again and bare Jacob a second son. Raquel said, with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. She's fighting her sister Leah in this weird internal insecurity battle she's having with her sister. I've wrestled my sister, and I have prevailed. She called his name Naphtali. When Leah saw that she had left barren, could not have no more children, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her to Jacob to wife. Leah's maid bare Jacob. That poor guy Jacob, y'all, he was getting worked over. Zilpah, Leah's maid bare Jacob a son. Y'all don't know. Hey, y'all think it's okay. You know what? I'm gonna leave y'all alone. And Leah said, a troop cometh. Hey. And she called his name Gad. Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. Reuben went in the days of the wheat harvest and found mandrakes. Mandrakes are fruit. Let's look up the word mandrakes. Mandrakes called dudei, right? It's the Hebrew word for dudei. And a boiler or a basket, mandrakes, it's an aphrodisiac. Okay. So they had got this fruit. It's an aphrodisiac from 1731. A dude they would put it inside of the basket or the cauldron or the kettle, or seethe it, and it would be this aphrodisiac. So Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field, and she brought them in unto his mother Leah. Okay, because she trying to get her libido back. Y'all not gonna say nothing? Oh, okay, no problem. Y'all, hey, I'm not making this up. Look, she went, had her son go get some mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother Leah. And Raquel said to Leah, look, you got enough. Give me, I pray you, give me some of your son's mandrakes. And she said, you know what? I tell you what. Is it a small matter that you have already taken my husband? He didn't really want you, but now you have him because you have all the children and he got to be in your tent all the time. Is it not a small matter that you've taken my husband? And would you thou take away my, pardon me, I'm saying the wrong person. Pardon me. Let's do this again. Reuben went in, verse 14, got mandrakes, brought him to Raquel, brought him to Leah, his mom. Raquel said to Leah, give me, I pray thee, of some of your son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, is it not a small matter that you have taken my husband? Meaning, this is Leah.
Wow.
This is Leah. He really my man. I got the babies by him. You ain't got none, chick. He's my husband. She says, is it a small matter? Now you want to take away, that's the truth. Now you want to take away my son's mandrakes also? You already got my man. He don't want to sleep with me. He comes over and drops off his seed, and then he goes back and sleeps with you. Raquel said, therefore, okay, all right, here's the deal then. Therefore, and Raquel said, therefore, he shall lie with you tonight if you give me 15 mandrakes. Woo, Lord, this
right there.
This is better than Housewives of Atlanta. Father, listen. She says, you break me up some mandrakes, our little boy comes stay the whole night with you. He ain't gotta come home when he does. I'm sorry. Y'all think I'm being carnal. Y'all.
But it's right there. It's right there in the word, though.
I can't take it out the writ. He got pimped. Pimping ain't easy. Listen. Verse 16. So look at this. Look at verse 16. Look at verse 16. Look. So Jacob, completely oblivious to what's going on. Jacob came out the field in the evening. And Leah cut him off from going home. She was like, bro, you coming with me tonight. We already brokered a deal. Turn left. God help me. He trying to go home. And the two women have brokered a deal. And this is why, look, he should have said what I say. You ain't the boss of me. Oh, yes, I am. I gave up 15 mandrakes, bro. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? The saved people don't want to hear this story. I'm sorry. Okay. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, thou must come in unto me. Come on over here. Shake your moneymaker. For I surely have hired you with my, look at what she says. I have hired you.
I paid full price.
I have hired you with my son's mandrakes. You gonna lay with me tonight. And he lay with her.
You know what?
Y'all never read the stories this way, but I have fun reading my Bible. I don't know about y'all. I have fun reading my Bible. Okay, so this is
Oh,
usually
man.
Oh my gosh.
this is usually when I get about 5 people that will send their resignation from VWJ and Darash Kingdom Ministries. It's okay, guys. I expect them. I'm used to it. I go through it every year. And Elohim hearkened unto Leah. What? And she conceived and bare Jacob the 5th son from her womb. And Leah said, Elohim have given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. Leah conceived again. That's some bad mandrakes, boy. She bare Jacob a 6th son. Y'all never read. Look, y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna, when I read, y'all gonna learn. Listen.
Are those things still around?
Yeah, where the mandrakes? Look, get rid of that Viagra out there killing people. Look here. Listen. So, y'all. Oh,
Go natural.
Wait a minute. I need to know if the room is okay right now with the teachings. Are y'all okay? Y'all know this is in the Bible, right?
We're good. I'm
Good.
Some of y'all sitting back, you're clutching pearls, ain't even got them on, and your cheeks is all red. All right. Leah said, Elohim hath given me my hire. Verse 19, Leah conceived and bare a 6th son. Verse 20, Leah said, Elohim have endowed me with good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me. See, she's just been trying to get her husband to come home.
Wow.
That's all she's ever wanted was her husband, because her daddy said, that's going to be your husband.
Daddy can't buy you love.
Surely my husband's going to come and dwell with me now, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called the name of that one Zebulun. Afterwards, she bare a daughter named Dinah. That's 7 children. They got a basketball team, y'all.
True.
For real.
Verse 22, and a cheerleader. They got a basketball and a cheerleader. Verse 22. Elohim remembered Raquel, and Elohim hearkened unto her, and then he opened her womb.
Wow.
This has always been in your Bible. Y'all know that, right? And she conceived, and she bare a son, and said, Elohim hath taken away my reproach. Now, can I give y'all the lesson for why I have so much fun with this?
Yes, sir.
Please. Go ahead.
Please.
I need more people, because I need to know if I can give y'all the lesson in this.
Yes, please.
Watch this.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to read verse 25, and I'm going to tell you the lesson in this. She called his name Useph, and said, Yahweh hath added to me another son. And it came to pass, when Raquel had borne Useph, that Jacob said unto Laban, all right, man, send me away that I may go unto my own place and to my own country. Raquel got to the point. Raquel suffered because of Jacob's unforgiveness.
To Laban?
To Leah, his wife. He held both of them accountable for what took place, but he never held Raquel accountable.
Oh.
That's why he kept saying, that's why the Bible kept saying he loved Raquel. She could basically do no wrong. But Leah, you knew better. You shouldn't have let this happen. He never deals with Raquel about this. He deals in this sense. And Yahweh is like, you hating Leah. You should have equal disdain for Raquel.
What about the father?
Why?
Stay with me. Stay with me. The text says he hates Raquel. He hates Leah. He loves Raquel. Daddy ain't got nothing to do with this. That's just culture. Daddy's issue, I got that. That's a man thing. We deal with that. But of his now wives, he does not release Leah the way he releases Laban. He does not release Leah because Raquel had to be a part of this under daddy's orders too. But he's just despising of Leah, not because she was ugly. He just needed a place to be angry, and he chose that unwisely and would not forgive, yet keep going in. And the very thing he despised kept giving him the very thing he wanted.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow.
And Raquel suffered from that because Yahweh says that he knew that Jacob hated Leah, so he shut up Raquel's womb. Raquel suffered because of her husband.
Oh, he's doing.
Ooh, child.
Or
Now, let's finish the chapter. Let's finish the chapter. So Leah conceived and bare 6 sons. Where are we at? Verse 26. Okay, verse 26. Give me my wives and my children that I may go serve thee, and let me go. For you know my service which I have done you. This is 14 years later. Laban said unto him, I pray thee. If Laban said, look, man, if I found favor in your eyes, why don't you wait a while? For I have learned by experience that Yahweh had blessed me because of you. And he said, look, appoint me whatever your wages are, and I will give it to you, because I can afford it now. Verse 29. He said unto him, you know how I have served you. You know how your cattle was with me. Not your little clonies that you got. They were with me. For it was little which you had before I came. And now it has increased into a multitude. And Yahweh had blessed you since my coming. And now when shall I provide for my own house also? He said, well, what shall I give you? Jacob said, thou shalt not give me anything. I don't want nothing from you. You gave me enough. You gave me Leah and 2 other wives I did not ask for. If you will do this thing for me, I will again feed and I will keep your flock. I will pass through all the flock today, and I will remove from there any speckled, any spotted cattle, any brown cattle among the sheep, and spotted and speckled among the goats, and such shall be mine, my hire. So shall my righteous answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for me and my hire before your face, everyone that is not speckled, everyone that is not spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. So if when the time comes for me to leave in this contract, this next contract we're making, if I do not only have speckled and spotted brown sheep, then you can call me a thief. Laban said, behold, I would it might be according to your word. Let's do it. Verse 35. He removed that day. Laban removed that day the he goats that were ring stark and spotted, all the she goats that were speckled and spotted, and everyone that had some white on it, and all the brown among the sheep, and he gave them unto his hand of his sons. And he said, y'all take these up the block, about 3 days journey. And Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. So when Jacob goes through the flocks the next day to check for the spotted, speckled, brown, he don't find them, because Laban, again, with his trickery, did some tomfoolery. Verse 37. So Jacob took rods of green poplar, and of hazel, and of chestnut tree. And he piled white strakes in them, and and made the white appear, which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had piled before the flocks in the gutters in the watering troughs when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods and brought forth in their pure state. They brought forth ring-starked, they brought forth speckled, and they brought forth spotted cattle. Jacob did separate those lambs and set the faces of the flocks toward the ring-starked and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves and put them not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. And when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So he was very specific that when he had weak cattle, feeble cattle, he let Laban's cattle breed from the weak. But when it was a strong cattle coming in, he put the rods in so that, do y'all understand what he did?
No, not really.
Okay.
No.
So the watering troughs are on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So whenever they would be in heat and those seasons would come and they would go to the watering troughs, it was easier to put the stud on the female while she had her head down in the water. And while they have to get on each other's back to conceive, their heads are looking down in the water troughs. And what they see in the water troughs is going through their system. So the ring stark with the reflection of the water would be what they see. This is why I can tell you, you conceive what you see. So if you peel back the bark of a tree limb and you put it in the water and the water is glistening and you're in the act of conception, in the act of they're in the act of coming together, their eyes are looking at the troughs, they're drinking and they're conceiving at that same place.
Oh, okay.
And that's how the external texture changed. So he had them take some almond bark, take the bark off of it, put those rods all in the troughs, put the rods on the ground and in the water in front of the troughs, so that when they began to start, getting at it, they would be looking at that, and that would be what they see. And at the time of conception, that's what would come out. That's what changed the color. I thought that was genius. So, oh, by the way, y'all, this is the heritage of Jacob from Isaiah 58, a part of that. You see how Laban stuck him by taking out the ring stalked and speckled, and then, so he can extend his time. And he was like, oh, okay, you want to do that? All right, bet. Yahweh gave him the idea, do this. He put them in the water, put them at the troughs, and then made them conceive at those areas. And what they saw, that's how their product came out. Y'all got it now?
Yes. Yes.
So verse 41 says, and it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle that was feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger were Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and the maidservants, and the men servants, and the camels, and the asses. All right, we'll pick up verse 31. Chapter 31 next week. All right. Now, I hope you guys are okay with it. I know we had a little bit of fun, and people don't like to talk about the different kind of things we talked about, but y'all need to know this is in your Bible, and I'm gonna always be me and have fun with it. So I hope that you learned something today, and more so than judged what was said today, that all these things makes a little bit of sense to us. Do y'all find the Bible humorous? I do. I find it hilarious.
Sometimes I do.
Did y'all know that Jacob got pimped out by his wives?
Yeah. I don't have to look and sound crazy by myself. I got a crowd to believe the same thing.
Yeah, old boy got sold off by his wife. Wow. Pimping ain't easy.
The funniest part is got sold by the mandrakes.
What'd you say, Alex?
No, that was Nicholas.
Oh, Nick. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Nick?
I'm sorry, man. I was having fun. I'm like, yeah, he got sold by some mandrakes. That's funny.
He got sold for some mandrakes. That part right there, some fruit. But it paid out. It worked. And right after that, once she made that deal with her sister and got through her own issues, and they worked out a deal, and it worked, and then Yahweh opened her womb. And then she started conceiving. The unfortunate part is the one he loved the most. This is why, saints, you have to forgive people. You have to literally forgive people, because just forgive. Remember to forgive people. Don't keep holding people in a grudge because you got a grudge and an axe to grind with them or someone else. Just always make sure you're doing it the way it's got to be done. All right. So, Father, we thank you today for your word and will and plan. We thank you for the Bible that you've given unto us, the Torah that you've helped us to understand. We're asking you that you would grace us with the wisdom of understanding it in pureness. And even though we have fun with your word is designed to be truth, and truth is hilarious when it's in your hands. We love you today. We exalt you today. We praise your name for who you are and why you are. We're asking you now that all things that we've talked about, that the words of our mouths, meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight. You put these things in the writ, we got it in all our getting, get understanding. And who said that the Bible and faith in you was boring and calloused? It's humorous and fun. Thank you. Bless these your people, I pray you, in the matchless name of Yeshua HaMashiach. We all pray and we say, Amen.
If you need truth, this is the place for you. No need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences, let love heal all that's broken.